welcome to the podcast Winning Big in Asia. And today we have a guest, a very, very special guest, and he is Sean Tan, the Asian coach. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for having me
Thank
here
you for
today.
joining us. And,
Thank
and
you.
this is interesting because we are doing the Asian Marketing Summit. We're
Yes.
talking to marketers and business owners all around the world.
Yes.
But I don't know what an Asian coach is. Can you please enlighten us?
Yes. First of all, I'm a facilitator and a coach, and because we are operating in Asia, yeah, which is the fastest growing region in the world at this point of time. Well, despite recent setbacks here and there, but Asia is a big market. I've spent more than 20 over years working in corporate. Even till today, many companies are still facing challenges in trying to grow their business in this region. Why is that so? I see a few factors. First of all, it's cultural differences, different ways of doing business, different practices, different level of development, knowledge. And I saw that there is a gap here that I can help to fulfill based on my own experiences. I decided to help a wider group of companies and people to be more effective when they're trying to market their products in this region. So that's why I started the Asian Coach.
Okay, Sean, that's very interesting. I can see that the Asian coach has a lot of value trying to bridge the East and the West,
Yes.
and basically very much a global view. In your experience, can you tell me, is there a specific reason why there might be difficulty for people who are in Europe, in US, trying to enter Asia? What are the blocks that they might have?
First of all, culture. European culture, American culture, and of course Asian culture are very different. Many times people talk about values. Okay, there's this thing called Asian values. I think sometime in the early 1990s, a couple of great Asian leaders started to talk about the concept of Asian values. For the Asian coach, I've come up with this motto, a tagline. The idea that I have put forward is Asian values, Western systems. Okay. This is what essentially the Asian coach is about. Asian values, Western systems. Why do I say that? Are there no Western values? Of course there are Western values. Are there no Eastern systems? Of course there are. But based on my observation, how things are done in a specific region, a lot has to do with their value systems. And of course, we're in Asia. We're talking about Asia. So the emphasis on Asian values is a lot stronger. But why Western systems? Many of us, especially in Singapore, we are trained by the Western ways. We are educated in English. We study the English or the American systems. And over the last 50 years, 100 years, the Western society has developed very fast. They have done research, they have documented it, they have taught it in schools, in the universities. So it's very well established. People know what are the Western systems, the way of doing things. Whereas in Asia, it's a little bit blurred. It's not so well documented. So how do we do things? Different countries, different organizations does it differently. So I thought there's a lot of value in how the Western have developed their economy. Just that we can't incorporate that wholesale into Asia. It will fail because you need to have certain conditions, certain culture, certain way of doing this before those systems can apply in the Asian context.
Sean, this is all very interesting, and I think the idea of a Western system, Asian values coming together, a bit like a jigsaw puzzle if you think
Yes,
about it, right?
I'm trying to strike a balance between the two, finding there's no right or wrong, not whichever is better. It's just understanding, be aware and understand, and you pick out the best from both.
Just now you mentioned a point of failure. Is there a chance you could share with us a story where maybe the clash of the two cultures led to something that didn't go so well?
Okay. Again, from my experiences, in the earlier days, of course, at that time, We were just learning as we go on. I was working for an American company, and as we all know, we're all very structured, we're KPI driven, we are very methodical, we know what we need to do, plan far ahead, and we're trying to roll out certain programs, marketing programs in this region. I was managing the distribution channel in Asia. So I partners, distribution partners in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, China, India even. And every country is different. So we are trying to use one template, one platform to roll out to every country. And I realized that it doesn't quite work that way. The level of acceptance was not very high. They were saying, why do we need to do this and that? And we don't do things that way here. So I was facing a lot of restrictions, resistance to what it is. Just leave us alone and we'll make the money for you, they said. Okay. Obviously, that doesn't sit very well with the headquarters. They say, well, we got to monitor, we got quarterly, we got, to make sure they do this, they do that, they do this, and they do that. And so I struggled along the way. Sometimes it works better, sometimes it doesn't. And from there, I realized that you can't bring those systems in wholesale and hope that everybody follows.
I can see the relevance and the fact that taking one system and trying to fit it into all the different cultures, there's a
Yes.
bit of a clash.
It is difficult. It is difficult.
In the same light, I'm sure you must have experienced some resounding success in the way that you have done your marketing or your outreach. And could you share a story about that as well?
In Asia, the very first thing you need to focus on is relationships. Okay. Of course, in the West, businesses are done through relationships as well, but not so much. Things are very clear. You offer a certain value to a certain client, and then they assess it based on certain criteria. In Asia, maybe sometimes that's not really the case. Trust is very important. Trust, respect, build the relationship first before you do business. So in the later part, when I go into new markets, first thing is I go in and understand what they are really about, how they do things, what they really need from us, whether we are the manufacturers or service providers, our products. Understanding them and getting to know them, because once the relationship is built and the trust is built, information will flow both ways a lot smoother. Otherwise, we are going in blind. Okay, like it or not, they are the kings of their territory. They are the locals. They know exactly where the customers are, how to get to the customers, who are the competitors. We coming in from outside, it's not possible for us to gain that level of knowledge in a very short time. We need to work with them and through them to reach the customers that we want to reach eventually. If your objective, the end result is that you want to grow market share, or you want to be profitable, or you want to be number one, whatever is it, stay focused on that and then build a relationship with the locals, work with them, and together you will get there. Okay, it may not be your way or their way, but a hybrid of both. So that's how I see the Asian values, Western systems concept working, because you need the best of both. You need both parties to be in sync. We may not agree on everything all the time. Usually we don't agree, but you need to let go of what is not important.
And Sean, I think before we round up, I think one thing we always share, and in this podcast, is really what is the one thing? What is the one thing that marketers and business owners must really do in order to win in Asia?
You need to be patient. You need to respect. Respect is very important in many forms. Respecting the culture, respecting the people that you work with, respecting the environment, the dynamics of how things are, and you got to deal with your partners on an equal footing. You may be a multi-billion dollar, global company, and they may be a small, SME. They are just there to represent you. But in this context, you're equal partners because they have a value. Without them, you're unable to penetrate into the market. You've got to pick the right partners. So be patient, respect them, and build the relationship. Once you get these fundamentals right, the results will come. You don't really have to force it or enforce it. You will take care of itself. And I've seen that happening. And through all these years, I have developed and built very good relationships with many partners in this region. Even though at some point of time we may not continue to do business, but the relationship continues. And that is really the essence of it. And you can always go back and tap on it anytime with whatever products or services that you want to offer in the future.
That's very well said, Sean. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to round off this segment of the podcast, Winning Big in Asia. And there you have it. The Asian coach says, respect, be patient, really understand the Asian context. And then from there, there's always a relationships that will take you home. And with that, we'll thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. We'll see you at the Asia Marketing Summit.
Thank you for having me.